Formula One is like Texas. It's a big state. And it's in a very big state at the moment because some of the races that we've seen this season have been absolutely appalling. And to be fair, a lot of fans are sick of it. We've just had enough of the boring races. A lot of fans are leaving, or getting rid of their love of Formula One. They don't enjoy the sport anymore. It's not the sport that they used to love. And to be fair, I'm starting to get into that category. So today I just thought that we would just talk about some things that we could change about Formula One, maybe some even some good memories that you have of Formula One, or even are you still going to be sticking around after this season, or are you going to see out the season, or are you just going to be like a bit like me really, you're just going to be like, right, I'll just follow Formula One whether it's a bad race or not, because the French Grand Prix was probably one of the worst Grand Prix that I've ever seen, and I have seen some really bad Grand Prix in my time. And I'm pretty sure you guys have seen a lot more if you have followed the sport, a lot longer than what I have. And to be fair, it was just so bad to the point of where I was on my phone, I was on my computer, I was going in and out of the room all the time, and that for me is when it's bad. I don't want to do it, but when you're watching something and you just get bored of it, you just end up doing other things. And to be fair, if I'm doing that without Formula One, then there's something clearly wrong. Like, I understand not every single race is going to be entertaining. I know that, but from this season, there's only been, in my opinion, only one entertaining Grand Prix, and that was Bahrain. And because the Ferraris were doing really, really well, there was some great battling between Lewis and Seb. Lewis and Seb. There was some great battles in the midfield, and it was coming off the back of an average Australia. 2018, we saw a lot of cars struggling to overtake. They changed the airbuses for 2019. And that did improve things a little bit. So the first two races were a bit alright. Australia was okay, but Bahrain was really good. And we were like, right, here we go. And then the next two races after that were China and Azerbaijan. Big wide circuits. Well, one wide, one not so wide. However, both with really long straights where the cars with the most power will have a really good advantage. And both Grand Prix were just as bad as, I don't know, just as bad as as the previous other bad Grand Prix. Azerbaijan 2017 and even 2018 was so entertaining. It was so good, and we're thinking 2019, yes, it's going to be even better, and that wasn't the case, was it? It was just abysmal, absolutely abysmal. So loads of things need to change about Formula One. Now, for instance, I do know that the rules changed in 2021. I don't know if they will make any difference. I believe that they will make a slight difference. I think that we will see the teams closer together. We're not going to see like the top six break away and then the other teams follow suit. I think there will be a lot closer to the point of where there will be a couple of surprise battles. But I could still see Mercedes on top. I can still see Ferrari on top. Red Bull probably there. McLaren, Renault. If I'm honest with you, I just generally can't say at the moment. The Mercedes domination this season has been so good, right? It's been so impressive, so boring and all that, but so impressive, right? They won every single Grand Prix this season. They've had the best start to a Formula season ever. I think they got 5 1-2s in a row. I mean, credit where it's due. If I'm honest with you, I do know that a lot of people don't like Mercedes, but you have to give them credit where it's due, and to go on that mad run to where they are, where they are now. The records that they have is just unbelievable. They're just taking off Ferrari's records, left, right, and centre at the moment. They are quite still way off the most 1-2s in a Formula 1 career. They've got 50, and Ferrari got 83. I think I touched that in the preview, on Thursday. If you haven't seen that already, go and check that out. The Austrian Grand Prix preview. So fans are getting utterly sick of Mercedes just pure dominating. And a lot of that is down to the aeros and these tyres that the new tyre compounds that they brought in for 2019. Now, and the only thing is right about these compounds, I don't like it how it's. I know we're past the days of hard, ultra soft, mega soft, really soft. I can't believe it's softs, and we're just back to the simple soft, medium, and hard. But then they're going to complicate things by going it's C1, C2, and C3, or C2, C3, and C4. Like, who cares? I'm not bothered about C, bloody whatever. I just want soft, medium, and hard. I'll get onto that a little bit later about how complicated Formula 1 is at the moment. But yeah, that was just a little rant there in the middle of it. So yeah, so they brought out this new tire structure, which is basically allowing the tires to last a lot longer, which you're seeing a lot of one-stop races this season. And Mercedes' car handles these tires brilliantly. There's very less, degrading. The tires are wearing, not wearing as fast, not as much blistering. There is still a couple of blisters here and there, but you will get that at some tracks that are really, really hot. Like for example, France was just mega, mega hot. I mean, over here in Britain at the moment, we're in like 29, 30 degrees at the moment. Same in Austria. I mean, they're scorching at the moment. So expect more of the same really than in France at the next two Grand Prix if this weather lasts in Britain. Of course, it might not. I doubt it, but you never know. And yeah, and a lot of teams, and fans are really criticising the FIA for changing the structure, for instance, and the fact that Mercedes can get the tyres up to temperature and working at their best quicker than anybody else. And that's why the Mercedes are so far ahead at the moment. Ferrari are struggling with the tyres, Red Bull are struggling with the tyres, McLaren are struggling with their tyres. A lot of teams aren't understanding these new compounds, and Mercedes are. And then this is causing a lot of fans to really get on the FIA's back and saying that they just prioritise Mercedes over everybody else, which I think is a load of tosh in my opinion. I just think that the Mercedes car just suits, it just works. Mercedes have just got the perfect package. You can't exactly blame them for dominating. It's not their fault, because it's not their fault that Ferrari are languishing so far behind, because they were expecting Ferrari to be on par with them, probably even faster than them, and at the moment Ferrari are nowhere near that because of the tyres. So I don't see why a lot of people are just on the backs of the FIA all the time saying, "Oh, you're just favouring the Mercedes and stuff," and "Oh, you should do this with Ferrari," and it's like, I don't know how it goes back in the day, but for me, in this day and age, I don't think so. I really, really doubt it. But if you do have your opinion, let me know in the comment section below. So yes, obviously the tyres, people aren't happy about this. I do know at time of recording nothing's been confirmed, but there is a rumour circulating that they're going to have a meeting with Pirelli and the FIA and try and get the 2018 tyre compound back the same way that they made the tyres last season into this season. So obviously something might have been confirmed by then. I'm not too sure. But at time of recording, there's just been a rumor that yes, that the teams and the FIA and Pirelli are going to have a little meeting. Now I remember back in 2013 there was like a similar kind of problem where I think they did change the compound of the tyres differently to what they did in 2012. And if you remember, there was loads and loads of punctures. There was just loads and loads of problems with these tyres. All right, you're not getting this season, but it's a similar kind of example. And if you remember, flash your mind back to Silverstone 2013, when I think it was like 3 or 4 drivers all got punctures, because of these new tyres. Therefore, they had a meeting, then reverted back to the old way of making tyres, and that's how it stayed up until the past couple of years, when they have changed little bits here and there. But this is on health. This is of course on health and safety grounds, safety and everything like that. So that was a big thing. So they had to change it back. But this time I don't know if they will, because they go, well, what issue have we got here? Apart from the Mercedes working well. But if they do want more entertainment factor, then I believe that they should listen to what the teams have to say and revert back to the old way of how they make the tyres. I'm not too clued up on the tyres, so if you do understand this story a bit more than I do, then brilliant. But that's just the information I'm providing you with. So I do think that we should trial this run and go back a season and try back to the old compounds and see how these tyres go on. Well, last season's tyres go on with this season's cars, and hopefully, if they do get announced, let's say by, I don't know, the halfway point, Hungary. So maybe say after Hungary, come back for Belgium, off the summer break. Hopefully we'll have some newer tyres, and hopefully that the racing will be a lot closer. But I think for me, the damage is done already. I think for me, the Mercedes will not be caught at all. Hamilton won't be caught, not even by his teammates, and Mercedes won't be caught by Ferrari or even an outsider chance of Red Bull. It's not happening. Another thing that a lot of people are going on about is the cost of Formula One. Now, I did touch on the subject on the video that I did on why is F1 boring. If you haven't seen that, go and check that out already. I did enjoy making that video. I talked about, I think one of the things I talked about was the overall cost, the cost and the team prize money that they got from the 2018 season. And one thing what really bugged us was that the fact that Ferrari got $75 million just for showing up. And that obviously was really, really annoying. They got the most money last season. They got $205 million from the 2018 season because they got their standard sum of $35 million, I think it was, and then add-ons as well, like constructed bonuses and, loyalty teams or whatever it was. And it all totaled up to $205 million that the team got. And I think the lowest team was Toro Rosso, I think it was, who got probably $25 million, I think, or maybe $30 million, roughly about that mark. But it was a massive gap. I remember that. So and a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon on that, straight away. And I believe that the money should be distributed a lot fairer. Now, they are bringing a new regulation in for 2021 where they're going to have, I think they're going to have some sort of budget cap or a fairer distribution of the money, which should, level the playing field, if you like. But I could still see a loophole in where Ferrari or Mercedes is going to get the most money. And not only that, in that sponsorships, you get money through sponsorships. And if your team is constantly always at the top, you're going to get the more sponsors. Like Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull are decorated in sponsors. And the back teams like your Haas and your McLarens and your Alfa Romeo. Well, Alfa Romeo's not doing too bad. But like your Toro Rossos, they aren't as covered in sponsors. So that's going to affect them a lot. Williams especially. I mean, the car's bare. I mean, get rid of that livery for all I care. But like the car is bare. And McLaren's is improving a bit, but I mean, can you remember back in 2015, 2016, 2017, even 2018, the car was just naked, if you like. It's getting a bit better though to put this clothes back on. But I think there will be some sort of loophole, so I can still see them, wangling the way and somehow of getting more money. The top teams, excuse me, and not only that, like I said, Ferrari got $205 million, and they're still about 1.5 seconds behind the Mercedes. So money isn't everything, is it? So I just don't know. I don't know exactly what what it is they need to do about the money situation. I hope that they do find a really good solution, and that they really do think about it, and hopefully the money will be distributed a lot fairer. And the last thing I want to cover is the rules and regulations. Now, for me, this is probably the most complicated topic in the world of Formula One. I don't know about you, but this is my opinion, okay? Now, we've been doing the F1 Debate Show for about just over 3 years, and I've learned to kind of, spread my opinion across the board instead of just. There has been other episodes where I've just literally just burst out with my opinion there and there on the spot. With this kind of show, what we do, you've got to really look at both sides. Well, you've got to be on the fence, as I say. You've got to look on both sides of the opinion, of the argument. Okay, this driver's good, but also this driver's good, or the FIA is wrong, but this is why they could be right. And that's what we kind of do. And on that line, I learned quite a bit of the rules and regulations. I've understood them a lot more than what I did probably 2-3 years ago. But these days, I'm still a long way off as to understanding what rules and regulations still stand. And I was thinking about this the other day, right? And this is another thing I'm going to be bringing into it as well, is newer fans. So Formula One is obviously key to fans, because without fans there is no Formula One, of course. So we need newer fans to come into the sport to kind of take the baton for the next generation. But with these rules and regulations being so complicated, like with engine penalties, with how the engine works, qualifying, penalties, grid penalties and all this, race penalties, stewards and everything, decisions, what the hell's going on? It's just really confusing for the newer fans to follow. So I was thinking about this the other day, right? Because my stepbrother, off topic here, my stepbrother used to follow Formula One with me, not as closely as I did, but he used to watch the racing with us, probably about 2011 to about 2013, I would say. When I would watch the races, he would watch the races with us. We would talk about the race. He would then play the games with us. F1 2010, F1 2011. He would play those games with us, and then it got to a point where he would watch the races on his own. Like he would say, "Oh, did you see that thing? Did you see that incident?" And I thought, oh, me and him were getting a really close bond here about Formula One, and I've actually getting him into the sport. But as time goes on, of course, he got his own life, so did I, and then he kind of stepped away from Formula One altogether. He would say he watched the odd race, but then he just stopped completely. He gets older, into the teenage years, and of course he goes into his own thing now. So Formula One is just irrelevant to him now. And I got I was thinking to myself the other day, right? If I was to try and get my stepbrother back into Formula One to get involved again, I don't think I could do it. Not as easy as the other time because the races aren't entertaining, the rules are so complicated, and you've got to pay to watch the races these days. So why would he want to join? Follow the sport? Like there are some sports where I don't particularly like. For example, rugby, golf, tennis. I don't enjoy them, and I don't like them because I don't understand how the game works. But with Formula One, I understand how it works to a certain extent, a lot more than what other people do, and therefore I love it. I love the race, and that can be some boring races, but I still get that butterfly feeling when the cars line up on the grid and the five lights are about to go out. I get that really excitement butterfly feel in my stomach, and from that day when the butterfly effect isn't there anymore, for me Formula One is gone in my life, and that's when I'll go. I think for me, Formula One it could be going for my love, but for me, I still love it. I'll still watch it. I'll still watch it forever, even though the races haven't been that good. I'll still follow the sport and I'll still talk about it because I still love it. But for the newer fans, it's going to be such a struggle to get into the sport unless they simplify the rules, which I believe that they should do. Are you a new fan of Formula One? Are you understanding what's going on? I think they did get some new fans through the Netflix documentary that they brought out probably about a week before the season started, Drive to Survive. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. It's a brilliant documentary, and I have seen a couple of people say, "Oh, I didn't follow Formula One until now. I've watched it, understood it a bit more. Now I'm following it. So, oh, brilliant! That's really, really good." Some people will understand it. Some people will get their head around it, going, "Oh, yeah, I understand that." Because I think we're kind of avoiding the fact that people not every single Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to understand Formula One. Somebody will, and they will love it, but not as many as what they used to be back in the day. Formula One is such a massive. It was such a massive and unique sport that that a lot of fans would turn to it and probably watch it on the sly or whatever, or watch it whenever they wanted. And nowadays you're not getting that because free to air is gone. You're only getting highlights. Well, here in the UK, you only get highlights. You've got to pay to watch Formula One. F1 TV Pro. You've got to pay to watch that. You can't get that in the UK. And a lot of fans are just going, well, what's the point in watching the highlights? Because you're on social media all the time these days. You're going to see the results. Like for example, I was trying to get into Formula E, and I would be off work on the days the Formula E races would take place on a Saturday. But then the calendar chops and changes all the time. So when there's like a 2 week break, the next one will be a 3 week break, and then unluckily, from about the past 5 or 6 races, I've missed the Formula E races because I've been at work. But I've been on my phone a lot of the time, and I'll see the results. But that's because I'm not really that big of a Formula E fan. But that's similar to Formula One. Like you might get into it a bit, but then go, oh, I'll miss qualifying, or I might watch it later if I get a chance. Go on your phone. Oh, I've seen the results. But what's the point of watching it? Because you know the results. So that's why I go teetotal whenever whenever qualifying something like today. I would have went teetotal. So by the time watching this, I might have just watched qualifying. So don't tell me the results, please. Yeah, no, you can't. I would have watched it by the time I would have watched this. I would have watched qualifying by the time you do watch this anyway. But yeah, so I think they need to find some sort of way to maybe a cheap. I know they're not going to bring back full free TV where they're going to show all the races live for free. I know that's not going to happen, but maybe think of a cheaper alternative because now TV you can pay monthly for the sports for £34 a month. For some people that's quite expensive. I don't pay that. I don't pay £34 a month to watch, just to watch Formula One. I'll pay like a day pass or whatever whenever the race rolls around because some races I'm going to miss. So for me, if I was guaranteed to watch all the races live, and I wouldn't miss them for anything, then yes, I would get that. But some people don't work. Some people can't afford it. Some people have got bills to pay. That's life. So therefore, what's the point in paying for it? I'll just watch it on my phone or whatever. I'll just see the results. They might follow it ever so slightly, but they don't know they don't know they don't know what happened in qualifying. They're just seeing the results. They're not talking about it. They might say, "Oh, did you see Hamilton got pole? Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, so your team did well today? Oh yeah, yeah." Like just casual conversation and casual boring conversation about Formula One, and yeah, we're just losing fans altogether. So for me, definitely, I think we need to find a way of simplifying rules and regulations. Definitely bring back some sort of like alternative for cheaper Formula One on TV because it isn't going to go back to free. So because we do need fans to come into the sport, and yes, and obviously some sort of like easier money distribution definitely needs to be involved in that. If you do have your opinions and your ideas about how to make Formula One great again, then leave them in the comment section below. But this is where I'm wrapping this episode. Thank you very much for watching. A bit of a short episode today because I am on my own, and I've been struggling to find things to talk about. But once I seen the French Grand Prix, I kind of knew what I was going to talk about. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that the Austrian Grand Prix will be more exciting this weekend. And if you haven't already, go and check out our Austrian Grand Prix preview. On Thursday, where obviously we build to the Grand Prix. Tell you a couple of stats as well, a couple of ones to watch, and also give our predictions. And check out the race review straight after the race on Sunday. I say straight after the race, probably about an hour or so after the race. You'll be with me, yours truly, to instant race reactions. Straight off the belt, straight after the Grand Prix. Go and join us out there if you haven't seen our reviews already. And if you're new around here, then please subscribe as well. As like I said, leave your opinions in the comment section below. And until next time, I'll see you later.